For daily Ask Reddit. r/ask Reddit. What job did you work at that was so bad, you quit on the same day you were hired? If you liked the video, drop a like and subscribe so you never miss a video. A vacuum cleaner sales job. They explained that I'd have to go to people's houses and offer to clean one room for them with the vacuum and I'd get paid if during my vacuum demo they bought a vacuum. Nah, I'm good. I liked the vacuum though. An ex of mine worked for Kirby, if I recall correctly. He was expected to be in a person's house for 2 hours to sell them this goddamn vacuum. I wouldn't want a salesman in my house for 10 minutes. He lasted maybe a month, and then his paycheck bounced, which meant our rent check bounced. It was a mess, much like our relationship. Retrieving used formwork. 10 guys throwing 20kg pieces of nail infested timber down from 5 floors up. My job was to dodge the falling bits of timber and avoid stepping on nails. While I did it for 10 hours a day, duck that. No first aid guy on site. Got a nail through each foot on my first day, which I disinfected, bandaged and went back to work. LMAO WTF, I've actually done form work in full fork and the stripping before, and the guys I worked with would, rightfully, lose their shite if you didn't pull the nails or otherwise make them safe. They're actually specially designed to be pulled anyway, let alone tossing them down where people could get hit. Then again, that was a union job. Some help desk job. Recruiter lied his ass off. You gotta be careful with them. I've been sent into some bogus interviews because a recruiter just wanted to meet his quota. Another tip an old guy told me was to always send your resume as PDF. Recruiters will tweak your resume without your asking, just to try and get you into an unqualified interview, and it'll set your ass up for failure. When I was 14, I got a job at one of the few fast food places in town that hired kids under 16. I went to orientation, where they explained the positions different age groups could fill. My job would be to take people's orders out to their cars. I wasn't allowed to touch money or work the fryer. I showed up on the first day and was told my whole shift would be on the fryer. I told them I was 14 and not allowed to, plus I hadn't been trained on it. The guy basically said tough shit and tried to hand me a hairnet. I just left. Worked at a recycling plant for medical supplies. My job was to get inside the compressing machines and clean them. The machines were filled with blood, needles and shite. It was absolutely disgusting. Plus the place was infested with rats. Bruh, that's horrifying. That's literally horrifying. I'm a phlebotomist and regularly utilize sharp spoons for used needles and bloody supplies. I always wondered what the process was like after the sharp spoon left our facility. Yeah, if you got poked you had to immediately go to the hospital. Probably the worst part was they didn't give me the proper details before I started. I thought it was just regular residential trash. Didn't realize it was medical stuff until I stepped into the machine. I was working at a restaurant. A co-workers told me the boss asked him if he would sell him his passport. Different co-workers said boss asked him to be a guarantor in a totally blank passport application. Some customers came up to me to say they heard some men on the patio talking about trafficking people. Like, in the way that they were discussing plans to do it. Unbeknownst to them, one of these men was the owner. Owner was from Albania, by the way. Not trying to generalize, but they are known to be a human trafficking hotspot. I quit that day and called the RCMP. Sort of like Canada's FBI. I was in a seconded job, but was later offered another job by the CEO of the company I was seconded to. He tried to convince me to take the job without any contract or any assurance that the position was in any way secure once I assumed it, and then later, that they tried to withhold my salary after he heard rumors that I was resigning. I was thinking of resigning, but I hadn't made my intentions official yet, so I pleaded my case until they finally released my salary. An hour after withdrawing my salary, I submitted my resignation. It was a brew house, code for independently owned Applebee's with more beer options. Usually local, the cooks smoked on the line. Trash was thrown on the floor ankle deep until the end of the night. The confetti in the ceiling light covers were bugs. The ceiling tiles were brown from having never been cleaned. The floor, even with non-slip shoes, felt like I was walking on ice from the oil and whatever else. The chimney of the fryer caught on fire, and I was told that happened every 2 to 3 days. I worked 4 hours, got my shift meal, told them I couldn't do it because I didn't want to be there the day they got a less lenient health inspector. I was 18 and it was as a waitress for a fancy retirement home where they made meals to order for the residents who all ate in a communal facility. Somehow we were responsible for knowing a person's dietary restrictions, but there was no list of people with dietary restrictions as it's protected health info. We were just supposed to figure it out. For example, if grandma was allergic to peanuts, forgot and ordered a dish with peanuts, we were held responsible. The men keep smacking but with their napkins, and making inappropriate comments, which was fine with management, because they were old/senile. My first shift was supposed to be covering breakfast/lunch, 8 hours, but because so many people quit mid-shift it became a mandated double. I lasted 1 day. Of the 15 people I trained with, only one made it 2 weeks.